It's Jack from Alphacharts with a state of the market video. Today is January 4th, 2025. Before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only. These are not recommendations to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. And I may hold positions in some of the equities mentioned. Know your time frame and risk tolerance. All right, thank you all for watching the video. If you haven't done so, please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also find me on X at Alphacharts365, where I post things all the time for about usually market related. I also have a subscriber group. If you just noticed last week, we did the free view. Again, you get a ton of content for only $10 a month. In-depth market reports, focus list videos, extended watch lists, midweek videos, two of them, midweek market note, Sunday market note, annotated charts, daily market scans, just tons and tons of information. We do members only live streams. So great, again, huge amount of information for only $10 a month. This is perfect for somebody who works full time, who's been in the market and just wants another voice, another some in-depth analysis and or someone's just starting out and wants to shorten that learning curve a little bit. So it's all very yeah, I think that for this amount of money, it's month to month, and I think it's a great deal. If you are not on X and you're only a YouTube watcher, I do have the same video information all for my YouTubers in my community over here. So just click join right there, and you get all the video content. I also put annotated charts in the community tab. So we talk about that as well. So if you're interested in joining that community because you're not on X, click that join button right there. Same price, same everything. All right. Let's get into some charts. All right, what a week, huh? Happy New Year, everybody. So we have the SPY, and we have this big sideways. Right now, it's just in a sideways chop, right? That's all we can say for sure. But there are some things that I'm noticing on this chart. Okay, first off, a widening pattern. All right, what does widening pattern mean to me? It just means increased volatility is coming. What else do I see? I see a potential topping pattern within this widening pattern. Okay, nothing is confirmed. We have a very distinct neckline. That's the second thing. Third thing, even though it's a holiday shortened week, so this is hard to parse out volume per se, but we do have as things went up, decrease in volume. Again, this was the Christmas holiday right there. But also on yesterday, Friday, we had a very nice bounce day, but again on lower volume. Really not until Monday are we going to see real volume come back into the markets because this was New Year's. But we did see higher volume over that New Year's holiday as we went down and lower volume as we went up. I think that that's at least a little bit of a black cloud over the market as well. So those are, three different points that make me still cautious this market. Another one is that this is the Trump bump or whatever they're calling this. VWAP, and price is still under that. So under a 50-day as well, which is flattening. That's another, so yeah, your VWAP issue right there. That's a dark cloud. You have price under the 50-day, which is flattening. That's a dark cloud. The volume, that's a dark cloud. The topping pattern's a dark cloud. This winding pattern, that just means that has a potential dark cloud. All of that hangs over the market, 100%. And that's why I'm cautious. But nothing's confirmed yet. So even though we are cautious, we can't, I don't think we can be too bearish at this point, even though there's a lot of check marks to be a little, to be worried about it in the short term. Again, do I think like this is like the big crash coming? No, it just means that we may be entering some sort of pullback for a few weeks or something like that, maybe a retest of the 200 day. Um, and then we could look for bottoms and things to buy and things of that. So that's just kind of how I'm looking at the market right now. I'm not like this uber bear or nothing like that, but I'm very cautious. I have no exposure right now in the market, to start the year, and I'm willing to wait and see because I'm okay missing that first little bit of a market. I don't need to catch the bottom, right? But I'm cool with the middle 80% of a market move. That's what I'm hoping to get, right? Looking at the week. Market was down, right? 0.5% or so. So nice little hammer though, but still down 0.5%. And you can see, we are in a downtrend. Maybe this is some sort of, wedge or something like that. We'll see. But down 0.5% for the week. and then RSP was down 0.22, a little bit better. And when we look at the RSP on the daily, we have a similar type of topping pattern, maybe a little bit more well defined. But overall, just similar as topping pattern. The neckline isn't perfect, things like that. The 200 day is a little bit closer, right? But maybe we come back and retest 169. Maybe we don't. Maybe this goes higher and it's just a sideways consolidation. But again, even declining 50-day, it just looks pretty weak, right? Not saying it's gotta confirm, and it hasn't yet. Because I think this 173-ish area is now the important area, not even this particular neckline per se. I think 173-ish is important, but it still looks very weak. The Qs actually are holding up better than most above the 50-day. Nothing else can really say that as far as so far at least. Still above the 50-day. But we do have lower highs and lower lows, right? When we're starting to see lower highs and lower lows form. That's the definition of a downtrend. It could reverse Monday morning, right? That's fine. Maybe we make a higher high and everything's good again. But we don't have that yet. So we have to take that into account, price action, right? On the week, the Qs were down 0.77. So again, worse than the SPY actually, right? 0.77. And the equal weights were up. Look at that. See, that's surprising. First time, that's interesting. Okay, they were even. They were up, but even really on the week. And looking at the daily, still underneath the flat 50-day. So still has some issues going on, but that's a positive, right? Tag the 200-day bounced nicely, but under the 50-day. So now we're going to play ping pong maybe between these two. And then the break of the direction of that break is probably going to be real important, right? I think we can all agree upon that. But that's nice to see the equal weight cues actually holding up better than the cap, even the cap weighted. So that's the best looking chart we've seen as far as for the week, but still underneath the 50. Mid caps looks very similar. Look at that little sideways move. Really couldn't get much going. Looking at the weekly here, also up 0.5% on the week. That's kind of nice to see. So, maybe it's digging in right where, we'd want it to. This general area, I could probably move this to something like that, right? That's the general area. 200 days right there is to a 558, right? But we have underneath the declining, flat to declining 50-day. Again, indecision, indecision in the market. 200 days starting to flatten out, right? 50 days starting to, flatten to decline, right? There's indecision in this market. And so if the market is indecisive, why are we decisive, right? As far as knowing which way it's going to break and having a strong opinion on it. Like right now, the market's saying we're not sure which way it's going to go. IWM, very similar to mid caps. Let's see if it was up for the week too. Let's see. Oh, it was up for the week, up a percent. Very nice, very nice. But does that mean anything? Structurally, I don't think it does. It hasn't taken out this high yet. Definitely hasn't taken out this high. Isn't above the 50-day. Still below the VWAP from the Trump bump. So there's still a lot of questions in this market. In my opinion. And this is a hard, choppy market to trade, right? And that's the other part, right? Like there's easy conditions and there's hard conditions in the market. If you're trading this market, literally you're up or down every other day. It's very hard. So there's a handful of names that actually are doing pretty well. I have it down to about 25, 26 names that are doing well right now. But outside of those, it's been pretty choppy, I think a much harder penny market to trade. You see XLF has this kind of, here's a little trend line, but now it's still below the 50-day. And it's about 39 days, though, since this VWAP, which is now declining. So we have a little bit of this data over the next week or two, or 2 weeks, we'll call it, that's going to get erased. And if price cannot get back above the 50-day, we're going to see a very sharp start to decline, flat to declining 50-day in a lot of these charts. So we have 2 more weeks, though, for that to potentially happen, up to 2 weeks, depending on what price does here. I may not wait that long, right? But XLF, and again, maybe it was, let's see, it was down 3/10. Semiconductors were up 1.39. That's where a lot of the NASDAQ strength came from, I think. But really, nothing much has changed. It's been bebopping between the 200-day and this general level right here for, well, quite a bit of time. Now, the nice thing is, to me, this looks VCP-esque, right? So a breakout here above 250, we'll call it 255. A breakout above 255, and I think that's a really strong looking breakout, right? So in semiconductors, because that has, I love these higher lows that are showing up here, and this 200 day is starting to, kind of be that bottom guide. It will intraday. Um, get below it and sometimes even close below it. But overall, this is kind of nice, right? So semiconductors, if they can break out above 255, 254.50, 255, somewhere around there, I think we could come back up and retest highs. That's a decent little move, right? 10% or so. Again, individual names will probably do a lot more than that, depending on which ones you're going to buy. But yeah, that looks really good if it could break out. It hasn't done it yet, and maybe this week it will. Maybe this week it will. But that's what I'm watching. This is getting tight now, right? So we got to watch that. On the week it was up a lot. It was up 1.3, I believe it was. Equal weights were up 1%. Again, holding up really well. Going back to the daily, look how much stronger the equal weights are. So that's something to look at. Those mid cap semiconductor names, those are some names that I really think that look really good above the 50-day, right? So things are looking really good for, or I wouldn't say really good, but there's kind of setting up for semiconductors, right? We could kind of maybe draw a little trend line right there. It's two touches. We'll see what if it touches for a third time, what happens there. But that's an interesting little spot right there. Um, transports. Transports well below this declining 50-day, holding the 200-day on a relative basis, right? Below the area, like so. What worries me about transports is that false breakout, right? You have this beautiful kind of inverse head and shoulders. It broke out. Everything was amazing back in here, and we did well, right? Well, this was working. We did well. And then it came all the way back in, right? And so I don't like that at all. That's a problem, right? On the week, they were up 0.5%. Lovely. But really, what has changed? Not much has changed on this chart, on the daily chart, right? Not much, or the weekly chart. And you have this declining 50-day. We'll see where what happens if price comes back up to meet that around $70, $71 or so. We'll see if it does, or if it doesn't, or maybe the 23 days all gets up to 69, 50-ish or so, and then rolls over. Again, we don't know. Is this a bear flag? Maybe, right? But this is an issue. I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Equal weight, beautiful, bullish, outside bar, right? Look at that. It's actually really nice. On the weekly, I'm sure we were up, but let's see by how much. Up 1% on the equal weighted. Um, Again, hasn't really done anything yet. The 50-day is still rising, which is kind of nice to see. Let's see where 50 days back was. That's 39. That's the Trump air bump, and 58 is right there. So yeah, so within the next couple of weeks, we'll see if this changes or not, or if this breaks down. I would expect maybe an inside day or two, and then we'll see what happens. ITB housing super weak. Look at this 50-day just really turning over. It was one of the first to go, and one of the things that made us cautious weeks ago, right? We were cautious. December 12th, I think, is when I got cautious. And really, housing is a way to, the market's done nothing since then. It's gone sideways. It's been choppy, and it's probably chopped a lot of people up, to be honest with you. It's been a very hard trading environment for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Um, and some names again did very, very well, but you'd have to be in those names. Again, if you watched my videos from last week, which I shared with everybody because it was my free view of my subscriber group, you see we were talking about the names that did well. But this is housing, and there's nothing really to like about this chart. It looks very much like a bear flag forming. Even though this is drooping down a little bit, I don't see anything positive at this yet, and that's a problem, right? Housing, maybe it comes down to 96, 75, $97. We'll see if it gets all the way down there. Maybe we get a bounce, maybe we got a big bounce, who knows? But we're underneath the 50-day, underneath the 200-day. Nothing good happens there. XHB looks exactly the same, really. Maybe comes down to this 100-ish area. Maybe then we get a little bounce, and then we'll see what happens, right? You know, we'll see if that creates some sort of bounce. But overall, we've had a little bit of a constructive week, but really, when we look at the bigger version of these charts, there really hasn't been that much that's changed. So I saw a ton of bullishness on Friday, quick bullishness. After 4 down days in a row, we had a little snapback on lower volume. I'm not there yet. Everyone's different. Everyone trades their own accounts. I'm not there yet. Getting back above 595 on the SPY, that's a huge step in getting me there, right? Huge step in getting me there. Getting above this area, making a higher high, that's a huge spot for getting me there. Remember, since where have markets gone really since November 6th? Nowhere. Now we did make a good bit of money in this part of the market, but that was the six right there. This is about where I got cautious in the market here, and what has happened since? Nothing. Literally, market's gone down. Super hard trading environment. Short term, if you're a day trader or a very short term trader, yeah, you maybe can make a little bit of money, but you got screwed on the short side. It was hard to make money on the long side. Didn't last very long. Came right back in. Chances are it's been a nasty, choppy market for most of the folks out there, right? Unless you're again a shorter term time frame trader, intraday or something like that. In my opinion, that is probably going to continue in the near term until we see a directional move, which we just don't have yet. Again, and I am cautious of the market. I go into way more in depth about the markets and what I'm seeing for members. For $10 a month, it's month to month. It's worth a try. Give it a try. And again, I make it affordable for everybody, right? So my goal is to have as many people as possible be able to afford this type of data and research, and you take out of it what you want, right? Everyone gets something else out of it, right? Anyway, thank you all for watching this video. Have a great day.